Please welcome to the stage your CEO, Chris Cicchinelli.
Are you having fun? Are you excited? All the way up there, are you having fun? Thank you. You know, it's so much fun. You get to see all kinds of different things when you go traveling and get to meet so many different people throughout life. But I can tell you right now, you know, they kept asking me, Chris, what do you want to talk about this year? What is it that you have this burning desire to talk about? So I kind of was thinking about some names of some, you know, some talks. And I thought my first one was like, get up off your ass and do something.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get up, get on up. Get up, get on up. Stay on the scene. Get on up like a sex machine.
Get on up. I kind of like that, right? Or, you know, the other one was like, you know, what the? But everybody stopped me. They were like, you know, Chris, when you're going to talk, we got to get real. Because here's the thing. When you watch that video and you got to see all of the things that were on there, all the trips, all the people getting together, you see the relationships that Pure Romance has been able to build over the time we've been in business. How much fun has it been, huh? Think about that. You know, you think about this. Yes, it's been different. Absolutely. You know, you think about some of the things we've been through. Yes, it's challenging. Think about our future. It's been big. A lot of things that we've been doing here at Pure Romance has been so much fun for so many years. And tonight, some of you are starting on their first journey inside of coming to one of our large events. You got to see the first product launch with Up All Night with Patty and Chris, which I thought was fun. Way out of my comfort zone. Hell no. You know, I'm sitting there, they're like, you're going to sing Florida Georgia Line. I'm like, I'm going to what? Yeah. Interesting. But here's the thing. The best part about this is this. We get to do new things together. We get to share tears together. We get to have joy together. But we also get a little crazy sometimes, don't we? Now, you know, I think that one of the things I talk about, too, is happy. You guys know.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is.
Because you know what? I was looking when I did this talk, I said, you know what? I got to find out what people think is about happiness. You know, because there's so many people out there that are searching for this. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it, what people are looking for in life. So these are the things that came up when I Googled it. This was an actual article that was published, and I thought, oh my God, I got to go into this. Let me take a look at it. So the first thing that came up, it said, higher paying job. And the first thing I thought of, no shit. I mean, are you kidding me? You don't think everybody goes, yeah, I'd like to make less. Yeah, great. Right? Save more money. Save more money. How about this? Save more time, right? Save more time. Meaning we like to have more time. You know, most of us are just getting started. We're sitting there going, we like to have more time. Or think about the next one. I know that before World Conference, you guys were in tanning beds. You were going to nail salons. You guys were on these different types of diets. You were on the raw diet, the vegan diet, I'm not going to eat shit diet. You were on all kinds of diets because you were like, I got to fit into my dress. And I think that's great because some people are just like, I just want to look better. You know, how about learning something new? You all came to World Conference to learn something new, didn't you? You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to educate yourself, stay a student, and learn something new. The other thing, too, living longer. Be comfortable. Who wants to be uncomfortable, right? Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Be lonely. Not to be lonely. Be loved. We all love to be loved, right? HR's not in the room. You can hug the person next to you if you want to. Say, I love you, man. Oh, you asses are hugging down here. You better hug. I am watching. You are not hugging. You're not hugging enough. You're not hugging. You're not hugging. You're not hugging either. I'm watching. We got video cameras. You guys better be hugging up there. You better be loving each other. Don't act like you're getting out of it. Oh, I've been doing this for so long, I can't hug the person next to me. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's not making me do that. And you know what? What about pleasure? I was like, yeah, no wonder that we're doing so well in business because people are looking for pleasure. Pleasure, you know, and that's the cool thing about what we do. We're out there able to give people pleasure, both financially, communication, and giving them tools. This year, when my marketing team came to me this year, they said, hey, Chris, we're going to start this campaign, and we want to call it the Say Yes campaign. Now, I thought it was a little odd. They walked up to my office. They say, hey, listen, we got, you know, our white box. It's got the pink side pink inside. And when you open the box, we're going to put a yellow sticker. And we want the girls, when they open their box, that they take a selfie of themselves opening the products. I said, what? Yeah, because you know what? We want them to say yes. We want them to say yes to a new career. We want them to say yes to something different in their life. We want them to do life different. That's what we want them to say yes to. Hell yeah, what? Do life different, because you know what? It is about doing life different. Just like you saw up there. You saw those women up here, and they're living. They're doing it because you know what? Everybody has a story, don't they? We all have stories. And you know what? Some of you guys are making your first stories this week here. Some of you, the day you open your box, you start at chapter 1 in a new beginning. You didn't know you were doing that, did you? Some of you didn't know the power that you were going to have, that you were going to be able to go out there and help people. Not just with your parties, but also sharing the opportunity. My mom always told me one thing, though. She said, Chris, if you're going to tell a story, you got to make sure it's juicy. You got to make sure when you tell the story, it's a colorful story. So people listen, because people want to listen, and you got to tell a story so well that people want to hang on to every word that you have to say. Make it colorful. So as I was thinking about colorful stories, a couple people popped up in my head about what their stories were like. How colorful were they? And these people came into my mind. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Oprah Winfrey, right? $2.6 billion. Steven Spielberg, $3.5 billion. Richard Branson, $4.2 billion. You think of Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Henry Ford. What did they all have in common? Yes, they're all billionaires. That's pretty self-explanatory. But they all have a story, right? You got Oprah Winfrey. She was raised by an unwed mother. She was born early. She was raised in Mississippi. She grew up in the ghettos of Milwaukee. You got Richard Branson that had dyslexia. All these people had different stories, but the one thing that none of them had is this. None of them graduated college. So that brings me to this really crazy story, and there's another person that I think has a great, colorful story, and that's this guy right here. I tell people all the time, I say, you know what? I graduated 167 out of 169. I drove an Escort L. It did not stand for luxury at all. I can tell you right now, I think about that all the time. I remember going up and picking up girls for dates, and they would be like, oh, God, is that your ride? I'm like, no, I'm just borrowing it. But you think about those days, you know, you think about all of those things that happen in our life. You know, make your stories colorful, because here's the thing. What happened when we were in school, we had people that, you know, basically put labels on us. You know, some people were the cool kids, cheerleaders, football players. You had the jock group. You had the skater group. You had the weed group. You had all kinds of different groups that you had in school, right? Like, you're part of the math club, right? I was part of the Spanish club. Whatever you were, but people put titles and stuff on us. But here's the craziest part. Most people let the past control their future. And what I want to make sure you understand is that your past doesn't necessarily need to control your future, does it? No. Hell no, it doesn't. Because you got to be thinking in life, what are you going to do? How are you going to paint a different story for yourself? Where's your life going? Because you know what? If you live in that past and you think that the past dictates your future, you're crazy. Because here, the thing is, you can't walk out of here tonight and know that anymore because I won't let you, because your past does not dictate your future. I can assure you that. You're looking at a guy that knows that. I had dyslexia. I had everything you can imagine. ADHD, the whole nine. My mom made me look at a wiffle ball in a room, sitting up like this at night going, I hope his dyslexia goes away. I hope it goes away. That's no joke. Ask her. But you got to paint yourself a different story, because when you're telling a story, when you got this new story, you got to make sure that the new story or the story you're in right now is worth telling. It's got to be colorful. It's got to be fun, because each one of you have a story, don't you? Each one of you have a story, and each one of you are making new chapters in that story every day. One of my mottos is this: in life, you got to play big, don't you? And when I say play big, most people say, does that mean set your goals, Chris? No, I mean set goals past your goals. I just don't think having your goals, that's good. If you have your goals on a piece of paper, or you know where they're at, I think that that's awesome. But if you want to do life different, then you need to understand you got to start playing big. You know it. Because when you play big and you're going for that, do you think that the New England Patriots every year, if they win the Super Bowl, that they come back and go, gosh, you know what? Let's just play for the NFC Championship next year. No. Because every year we sit down with the staff and I say, guys, we want to win a Super Bowl every year. Every year we want to play big. We want to make sure that when we go out there, we're not just opening these markets, we're going to open up more markets. We just don't want 25,000 women. We want to go out and touch 50,000 women. We want to make sure that we can give more women the opportunity to own and operate their businesses, because that means we are winning. We're sharing and doing Patty's message because you know what? Just like her, we are not letting people kill our dreams. You can't have dream killers, because you know what? If you listen to dream killers, oh my gosh, you know what? You'll never make some of the money that those people are making in those testimonials. You'll never make that money when you go out there and, you know, those are just marketing materials. Yeah, marketing materials. I've met a lot of these women. And you know what? The one common goal that I see is they're not going to let anybody get in their way. They're not going to listen to what people have to say, because you know what they're doing? They're living alive, man. They're living in the moment. They are eating, they're sleeping, they're drinking their life, and they're making sure that they're not going to let a moment go anywhere. And when I say live in the moment, you should be right here today, present. You should make sure that you're thinking about yourself. How can I take tonight? How can I take this week? How can I make sure that I go out there and take all this information home to go home and rock out my business? How do I live alive with my kids? How do I make sure I'm in the moment with them? Do you have kids? Yeah. Most of you are glad you're away from them right now. So live in the moment. Here's the other thing is this. If you're going to go out, you need to play full out. Do you know what I mean by play full out? That means you leave it on the floor. That means when you're going to go out there and you say, Chris, I want to take my business and I want to grow it, and I want to continue growing, then you know what? You play full out. That means you're making the phone calls when nobody else is making the phone calls. You're going out there and you're working social events. You're going out there and doing as much as you possibly can because you want it so flippin' bad. Now, when you're playing full out, you know when you're playing full out because you're so damn tired that you can't keep going and you need somebody to get your butt in gear. And you know what? That's when you lean on the people that you meet here this week, right? You take as many cards, you take as many emails, you take as many Facebook things, because this is our family right here, and we're all here to see each and every one of us succeed. That's what I tell this staff is this. You meet as many consultants as you can, because you know what? You work for them. You support them. These are the people that we get up every day and go to work for. And you get the opportunity of a lifetime to meet these awesome 4,000 women that are here to celebrate their business. Play full out. Now, I get asked this all the time. When will it get easier? Now, it's so funny because here's the thing. If you talk to a free throw shooter, and he shoots 100 free throws, and you go back to him and you say, hey, how was the first 5? Well, I was, it was a little awkward at the beginning. I was trying to judge the range. I wanted to make sure this first time I've shot on this hoop. But then when you ask them what it was like at 95 and 100, you know what they tell you? I was in the groove. I was just feeling it. I was on autopilot. And you know what? It's the same thing when you sit here tonight, because a lot of this information, a lot of you haven't even had your first party. Some of you have had 1 or 2 parties. But here's what you keep saying to yourself. When does it get easier? When will I start making the big bucks? But here's what I'll tell you. You'll start making it when you do more repetition. That's what will happen. When you go out and do more parties, you're going to get more comfortable at parties. When you go out and talk about sponsoring, you're going to get more comfortable about sponsoring. When you go out and do the things, the basics of this business, it does get easier. That aspect, because I look at these ladies and everybody asks, how can I get to be like them? And here's what I'll tell you. That aspect of the party gets easier, and then you know what they do? They take on another challenge. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start this whole team thing you talked about, Chris. And then it's a new challenge. And then they come up to me at the meeting. They go, hey, listen, I just moved the director. When does it get easier? The thing I tell them all the time is repetition. The more meetings you have, the more talks you have, the more work you do with them, it gets easier. I get a lot of consultants that ask me this, Chris, how do the top people get their phones to ring all the time? Do they pay people? Are they giving a lot of free product away? I'm like, hell no. The top girls, I don't even think they give stuff away. They're like, every penny's coming back home to mama. I know. They're like, no giveaway anything. Free product, hell no, I'm selling it. Do life different, right? It's funny because here's what they're doing. Here's what's happening. They're doing the work when nobody's looking. They're putting that extra time in. They're not doing it for the kind of recognition or praise. They're doing it because they want to play big. They want to play full out. That's what they're doing it. You know, the other thing they do too is this. They find opportunities. They find them. They're looking for them. They're not hoping for anything because you know what? You hope sometimes that you're like, hey, listen, I hope my business is going good. I hope everything is going to go well. No, don't hope, do it. If you want to hope, don't hope. Take action. Everybody else is hoping. We don't want to hope. We want to do life different. Nobody wants to do the same thing and hope because here's the thing. They don't worry about the haters, the dream killers, because everybody will hate on you at one point. When you get successful, and sometimes it will be family. Family's like on the sideline. Is she going to fail or is she not going to fail? Is she failing? I don't know. I told you it was going to fail. I told you not to buy that kit. They want you to take a picture right away when you open the box. What were they thinking? Say yes. What the heck? Say yes to what? Here's the thing. You can't worry about what haters think because at the end of the day, it's like sports, right? If you think about yourself as a top-rate quarterback, you think that Tony Romo or Barry or whoever is out there, you think about Brady, you think about those guys, when they wake up in the morning and they had a bad game, they still got to go out and play the next Sunday, don't they? Peyton Manning doesn't wake up and go, gosh, I'm really just down on myself because all these people wrote crappy articles about me. You know what he says? He's like, all right, I'm ready for Monday's practice. You can't let haters affect your mental ability. Where are you going with your business? Here's the thing. When it gets hard, don't quit. Because here's what I hear all the time. Chris, I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm tired. I'm unsure. I hear that all the time. I tell them, though, too, when you think about life and you think about pain, what's on the other side of pain sometimes? Pleasure, right? See, here's the thing. Pain is temporary. But if you quit, pain will be forever. Think about when our kids go out there and they skin their knee and they're upset and they can't do anything and they're so screaming out loud and you're like, oh my gosh, and they're thinking their leg's gonna fall off and they're gonna amputate it, but then 5 minutes later they're outside doing the same crap, running around like nothing ever happened. Because the pain is temporary. You give into the pain and it will be permanent. You cannot quit in the middle. Because you got to start looking at things differently, right? You got to think of this. Yes, I look at this and I say, you know what? Most people, I saw 3 of them cringe back there. Is that paint? What the hell's going on? But sometimes, you know what? When you think stuff is bad, you think things are bad, you need to understand you got to keep going. You don't cry and give up. There's no crying at Pure Romance. You wipe those tears away and you keep moving forward. That's what you do. You keep moving forward. It's going to be hard. No shit, it's going to be hard. You've got to know that, though, going into this. You have to understand, if you want something bad enough, you've got to put the grind and the time in. You have to. And here's what I know, and this is what I know to be true in this business here of Pure Romance. And I'm so fortunate that I get to work for you every day. You know, working with my mom for the past 14, going on 15 years has been the greatest experience. You know, I always say God gave me 2 of these and 1 of these. Sometimes I try to do as much listening as I possibly can. It's a little overload sometimes. But I know these things to be true in life, and these are the things I talk about. Because if you truly want to do life different, then you need to listen. Because these are the things that I know to be true. You need to know what your jack of clubs is. You know what I mean? You see me play? You know the jack of clubs? You need to start with the end in mind, ladies. You need to know, what are you playing for? Why did you come to World Conference? Have you ever thought about that? Or did somebody hijack you? Why are you here? What are you doing here today? Learning, absolutely. And you know what? You should be thinking, why? What is the end result? What am I trying to get out of this? How about this? Commit to the process, detach yourself from the outcome, right? Don't hope your business is going to get better. Pick up the phone. Make phone calls. Make sure that you're meeting with people. Do your business. Detach yourself from the outcome and commit to the process. For you that are brand new, that are sitting here, this first time attendee group, I will tell you right now, the reason that those women are up there is because of one thing. They committed to the process. Now, they don't like me to tell you this, but I've seen most of their businesses flourish over the years. And the one thing you should know about each one of them is they committed to this business. They committed to going out there. They committed to going and doing parties. They committed to doing parties when they didn't want to, when there was other social events. They committed to taking time away from their family. They committed to doing team meetings. They committed to going out and doing sponsor meetings with one person. They went out and they've had the time to sit back and think about this. I have to do it because I'm committed to the process, because I am looking at the outcome in the future. Am I correct on that, ladies? And I applaud you because I know your trials and tribulations. I know that most of you started and where you started at. See, at the bottom, damn right you did. And everybody asks, well, what did they do and what are they so special? It's because they get it. They have worked, and over time, and you commit to that process, I promise you, this business will work. It's not the business failing. Most of the time, it's you failing the business. And what you got to understand is this. People all the time say, Chris, well, you know what? I don't have enough money. I don't have all this stuff. People don't have a room at their house to have a party. What is the worst thing that somebody could say to you? No, know, what is the worst thing that somebody could say to you? The thing you're not prepared to answer. You can overcome no. You can overcome objections. You got to be prepared for the objection. See, I travel 200 days a year, ladies. 200 days a year. And you know what? When I come back home, I grab 2 Tylenol and a bottle of water and I put it on my nightstand. And you know what my wife says? She goes, "What's that there for?" "I don't have a headache." I said, "Good." You got to overcome the objection before the objection happens. I'm just saying. You know, 200 days on the road. Just saying. Now, see, here's the other thing. Change is going to happen. Growth is an option. I can tell you right now, we're going to have new products. We're going to change different things that are here. The issue is this. You got to grow with them. You got to understand they're going to happen. Don't let change paralyze you, not just in business, but in life. Don't let it paralyze you, because you should expect change. And I always say, you should expect that 15% of life that stuff is going to happen. And so when stuff knocks on your door and goes, "Can I come in?" You're like, "Yes, come on in. I was expecting shit to happen." If you expect it and you know it, who cares? I was planning for that washer to break down. Just come on in. I understood. Yeah, I had the flat tire. Yes, I understand that I don't have any money in my bank account right now. I get it. Funny. But we got to keep it simple, right? You got to keep it simple. Sometimes we complicate this business. And when I say complicated, what I mean by this, it's not that damn hard. We're not molecular scientists. We're really not curing cancer. We're having a lot of fun, though. But here's the thing. I tell people all the time, here, just follow these simple rules. Book parties. Sell product. Share the opportunity. And go ahead and repeat that again. It's not that complicated. I mean, okay, we make it complicated, but it's not. Book, sell, and share. That's what it is, and repeat. Somebody goes, "How do I be a leader?" You do all of these, and you do them over again. Because if you want to do life different, damn right, then you need to do what? Book, sell, and share. And repeat. Because my mom always said this to me. My mom always said, "Stay a student." That's what you're here. You're here to stay a student. You're here to get as much knowledge as you possibly can, because in life, it's about making sure that you're staying a student and you're putting your time into your craft. You should be investing it like you're doing right now. See, this is fun, and you're going to have a lot of fun for these next couple days, but here's what's going to happen. They're going to give you a bunch of tools. They're going to give you a bunch of information. You're going to be on your ride back, and then life's going to happen. The kids are calling. The significant other wants to know what's going on. What's going to be for dinner? What time are you going to get home? And then you know what? Life happens, and you forget everything we taught you. Not a wise investment. Unless you rode the mechanical bull. I mean, whatever. You could be like, "I rode the mechanical bull. It was great." I think they took that thing away, but whatever. So here's the thing. People ask me all the time, they're like, "Hey, what's the secret sauce in pure romance? What's the secret sauce that you have?" And the one thing that I say is secret sauce is fun. Is this not a fun business? If you haven't had fun today, I mean, I'd be shocked. I mean, we had Pure Romance Day. We had a bunch of stuff that happened. This is a fun company, and we have fun people that go out there because this is your company. You make it fun. You make it entertaining. But here's the thing I see all the time is we got to find happiness. But I have a small problem with some of you. Okay? Now, you need to check yourself if you're this person. Everybody's like, "Oh, God, I'm writing this down." I see these people with iPads are like, "I'm taking notes now." Most people are searching for happiness. And the problem I see is the goalposts of happiness continue to keep moving. You know, if they first start off and say, you know, I'll be happy when I have my first party, I'll be so excited. And then you know what happens is like, the first party comes and goes, they'll be like, you know what, I'll be happy when that first party's $1,000. Or I'll be happy when I get a new car. Or I'll be happy when I get a new house. I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when. When the hell do you become happy? When do you celebrate? And you know what most of you do is this, and I get this, being around women for so long, is you're the last person to celebrate. You do for everybody else. You need to start understanding you need to take some time for you. You need to celebrate your miles. You need to celebrate your achievements. You need to give yourself a damn high five. Because let me tell you something. Live life by design, people. Don't live it by default. Live it by design. And what I mean by living life by design is this. When we were younger and we were kids, you guys know, we used to play the game where we're going to marry Susie, we're going to marry Betty, or I was. You're going to marry Steve, you're going to marry, you know, Jake, you're going to drive the Ferrari, you have the 4 kids. You know what I'm talking about, MASH, right? Mansion, apartment, house, shack. Or if you played the little origami thing, right? You know, I always ask everybody, how's that shit working out for you? Because I really think sometimes in life, we live the life that everybody chooses us to live. You know, we graduate high school, then we go into, you know, secondary, you know, schooling, and then what happens is we're supposed to get married, we're supposed to have kids, we're supposed to get a minivan, we're supposed to do this. God, put me out of my misery. Because here's the thing, and if that's happened, if you say, you know what, gosh, he's right, I gotta start living my life, I gotta start having fun, I gotta start thinking and dreaming and just taking a new look on life. Take this week. Because you know what? You're not going to be the first one, and you won't be the last one. Because here's what I'll tell you. It's your life. It's your life. Now, the thing is, if you think about it, if you go and you play big and you play full out, it will be worth it, won't it? But you got to aim big, right? You got to think big. If you're not thinking big, it's not going to work for you. It's just like, you know, you got to think all the time. It is about playing big. I'm not just playing to win the NFC Championship. I'm playing for the Super Bowl. How many people want to play to win with me? I mean, really, who wants to play to win? Are you playing to win? Are you playing to win? Because here's the thing, it's okay to be different. It's okay, because you know what they're going to say? Gosh, who pumped you full of all that Kool-Aid? No, I just understand more than you do about life. I understand why I got to live my life by design. I understand why change is going to happen. I understand that I got to be ready because people are going to hate on me. I'm going to be ready because when people get successful in life, most people want to attack the success. And you know what? Most people don't like the confrontation, so they're like, oh, I don't want to be successful. No, shit. You want to be successful. You want to make, yeah, damn right. Here's the thing, give yourself time, right? Give yourself time to create your own story. Give yourself time because it's not a big rush. But you got to understand, you got to do your story. You got to do you, man. You got to do something for you. And when they asked me, they said, Chris, what do you want to talk about? Well, everything I told you today is things out of my life, things that I believe. Been doing this for 14 years. I started with my mom when we had 300 consultants. I thought she was crazy at first. But she knew that she needed to do things different. She couldn't just be same old, same old. If she wanted to make change and she wanted to have legacy and she really wanted something different, then she needed to do life different. She needed to make it happen. And you know what? This whole week, this whole time, I want you to think about one thing. Because I want you to understand, when you go out there and you live and you don't worry, you get to do life different. And you know what? Each one of you, when you leave here tonight, are going to get a Do Life Different t-shirt. Because you know what? You have to start now. You've got to start today. You've got to make sure you paint a different chapter for yourself. You're a pure romance consultant. You do things different. You tell everybody how you do things different. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. I love you. Thank you guys for doing everything you do. Thank you.
Am I wrong for thinking out the box from where I stay? Am I wrong for saying that I choose another way? I ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just 'cause everybody doing what they all do. If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that